Hello and welcome to our session Beneath the Surface, Building a Community for Urban Underground Development. I'm René van der Lecq. I'm leader of a small team that works on policy innovation within the Department of the Environment and Spatial Development. In 2017, we have established this team in the aftermath of the development of the strategic vision for spatial development. And at that moment, policy making got a little bit struck, and we felt really a need for an influx of new ideas. Next to me is sitting Shana Debrock. Hi, Shana. From the first day on, you have been a member of our team, of our innovation team, and you have dedicated yourself to the topic of urban underground development. Of course, you also helped to shape our policy assignments. Can you please introduce yourself a little bit and tell me how you experienced those first months of our team?
So, hello René. I am Shana Debrock and I am a policy officer who is specialized in policy innovation and underground urban space use. You should know that when we started working on policy explorations, we still had to figure out what kind of methods and approaches were suitable for our assignments. We invested in defining our mission and what we actually stand for. We found it very important that our work added value to key products of our division, which are policy content, instruments, and regulations. Because our key policy recommendations are directed at the Minister of Spatial Development in Flanders. We also wielded a very product-oriented approach and actually gave ourselves only 1 year to produce tangible products. Our approach is also founded on an open dialogue with experts and partners. So rather than creating new knowledge, we focus on bringing together existing knowledge, which is scattered all around the field. So from different backgrounds, all relevant to our main topic. We reinterpreted the existing knowledge in function of new questions. We also work quite independently, which I like very much, but we are surrounded with a strong supportive team, which gives us the freedom to move quickly and explore a whole new lead in an instant.
So in these first days, you really jumped on this topic of urban underground development. Can you tell me a little bit these first days, what kind of working field you encountered here in Flanders as far as urban underground development is concerned?
Okay. So you already mentioned my policy exploration focuses on urban underground space use, and inherent to a policy exploration is the fact that knowledge on the topic is scattered. And many experts hold a part of the answer. This is very true for urban underground space use, but also for other topics that we explored. There was a lack of community and even common terminology. So experts did not know each other and had difficulties with finding common terminology, which is important if you want to address some kind of vision and streamline your thoughts. So I interviewed about 40 different experts and practitioners, and these interviews really supported in finding the focus on our problem definition and getting a grip on the context and situation or lay of the land of our topic. So I actually started with a PowerPoint that I adjusted after every talk with an expert. So, I did 40, so there was a lot of adjusting. And actually, at a point, a day came when I no longer felt the need to adjust my PowerPoint after the interviews. That's when I knew we had the story of our baseline and relevant policy questions ready. You could say I acted like a sponge in the beginning of the exploration. I absorbed all the information I could gather, and every interview led to more questions. So eventually, I became to be able to add to the discussion, and my sponge got saturated. I went from gathering intel and asking questions to setting the agenda and actually contributing to the discussion, forming a vision. And in the end, I'm very proud of that, I became the person in the network people look for when needing advice and input. We focused on two main elements in the beginning. That was creating a narrative, so relating different knowledge fragments and creating a network, bringing all these different stakeholders together.
If I understand right, in the beginning you started up mapping the field of actors that is involved in Flanders. You created together a language, a narrative, uh, and then so you had some first baselines developed. How did you move on this after these first steps? How did you go into the depth?
So we needed to deepen our understanding of the topic after we had gathered all the intel from the different stakeholders. So we tendered several expert papers who exploited the gaps in our knowledge base. That was such as regulation issues or the impact of underground space on human behavior, real estate considerations, and impact on ecosystem services. We also tried to make the underground very tangible. So we invested a lot of time and effort in visualizing and conceptualizing the underground. For example, we did photo collections, development of images showing relationships between different functions in the subsurface. We also had a lot of workshops to create awareness amongst the stakeholders, awareness of all the different kind of resources and relationships between the different knowledge teams in the subsurface, because you have water, you have heritage, you have soil. That way we could identify all sorts of opportunities and conditions. So we started off with a very small group of 30 experts that gradually grew to a network of 300 people, including all kinds of stakeholders all around Flanders and even internationally. We also did a benchmarking study and made ourselves internationally visible to increase leverage of the topic and find suitable ways to shape the content adjusted to our local context.
Yeah. So there was much to do about processing things, much to do about knowledge development, but at the beginning you also indicated that our team was much product oriented. Can you give a little bit of insight in the deliveries of your exploration work?
Yes, sure. So we created within a year a wide variety in deliverables. We made a technical report for experts that gives a detailed account of everything we explored and gave a profound insight into our knowledge base. We also made an inspirational note for partners demonstrating the opportunities of urban underground space and providing a checklist of the do's and don'ts. We also made an explanatory video for a wider audience demonstrating what kind of value urban underground space can bring to our environment. You can say that was some kind of show and tell. We also did a series of papers looking for feedback from our international peers. We did some interviews with local newspapers and expert journals abroad, and we made a collection of worldwide good practices on urban underground space use, visualized by designs and pictures. These products were distributed within the network and put online on a website dedicated to our policy explorations. Within a couple of months, we noticed that these products began to live alive on their own, and our team began to be consulted on our topics that we explored. This is where our deliverables came into good use and became very useful tools in telling our story.
Quite a lot of very useful products were developed, but in the end, innovation also needs to land in some more tangible results. So, how did you ever since move forward in order to move policy development and also to get some change on the ground?
Okay, so I followed three specific tracks. The first one was developing policy proposals to integrate urban underground development in our planning system and our planning instruments. The second one focused on testing the results by creating alliances with local cities such as Leuven, Ostend, and Flanders, which are Flemish cities. And those cities brought themselves forward as early adopters of urban underground space use and were interested in planning their underground spaces. So we have 3 pilots up and running about now. And at last, we also put our international network to good use, and we got involved in international conferences to broaden our horizon and find better ways to embed urban underground space in our policy system.
So that's quite some results, to be very honest. I'm rather proud on this. very good achievements here. Maybe a final question, Shana. Can you describe, after all this work being done, what next steps do you see ahead, and what challenges do you still see?
Okay, well, that's a big one because the main challenge right now is how to integrate urban underground development in our mainstream policies on spatial development and environment, and also in our policy instruments. And we need to scale up the experiences of our early adopters. So it actually would be great if someone watching this session has experience in lifting up innovation and innovational teams, and have experience with taking the next step, with making valuable insights operational on a broader scale. So please get in touch with us to share these experiences.
Yeah, I think that is a very clear message to our audience. So please feel free to get in touch with us. Also, if you want to know, of course, more about our work. Well, I just want to thank you on behalf of myself, but also on behalf of Shana, for joining this session. And we look very much forward to meeting you very soon in some kind of environment. Thanks a lot, and bye.
Bye.